recording statement. Statement number 1, September 1, 2020, 2:39 a.m. This statement was sent to me anonymously, and well, I'll explain the details afterwards, but let's get right to it. Hi, I didn't know who else to contact, but I heard that you were someone I could give a statement on about what's happening to me. Trust me, I've told this to a lot of other people, and everyone says that I'm losing it. I don't judge them for that. Anyone in their right mind wouldn't believe my story. Heck, to a degree, I still don't believe in it myself. But hey, I heard that you were someone to send statements to, stories to, and that you would understand me. Listen. So, why not? Worth a shot. It's been 3 months in this quarantine and things haven't been great at home. My parents argue all the time. I haven't been able to go out as much as I want to, but that's everyone's problem. My problem is a bit more intricate in some manner. I believe that something is changing the things inside my house. The way I noticed this is because I go by my living room almost every day. I walk downstairs, past the living room, as usual, and grab something to eat in the kitchen. We have our dining table in the living room, but we rarely eat there. My mom says it's because the furniture is too good to ruin. Well, I hate to break it to you, Mom, but that dining set has been there with us for 18 years, ever since we moved into this house. This was the dining set that we first moved in. Jeez. But hey, I'm not one to argue with her. Life already has too many problems. Why add more? Anyways, one day I passed by the living room, like always, and noticed something weird. Our dining set has some wooden carvings on each chair. It's what my parents originally loved about it. But today the carvings are different. They looked different. It was usually an ornate flower carving onto dark black wood, but somehow it's different. It looks more like an animal rather than a flower. I asked my dad, and he said he always noticed it that way. He said it's always been like that. Always been like that. I chalked it up to just me being forgetful. My memory hasn't been the best, so I just dismissed it. Days passed, and I find myself staring at that carving every so often. I try to remember if it really was just animals instead of flowers. Maybe it's because I rarely stay at home for long periods of time. I usually have class and spend my whole day at school or with friends. But due to quarantine, this is the longest I've stayed in my house without going out. Maybe it's just the quarantine getting to me. A few weeks passed, and I noticed something weird again. There's a weird painting in our house that used to be different. I remember it being a painting of a tree that's black with a circular outline. My sister and I joked that it kind of looked like a hairy armpit, but that's why I remember it so much. I passed by it one day, and it was different. It was an entirely new painting altogether. Nothing about a tree or it looking like an armpit. It was a new painting altogether. A painting of two people, but their faces were blurred. But I could judge by the body type. It was a man and a woman. It wasn't really out of the ordinary. My mom loved collecting stuff like that, man and woman, sometimes even mother and child figurines. Always creeped me out. I asked my mom about the painting, and she said, "What are you talking about, sweetie? It's always been like that." She reassures me that we never even had that painting of a tree. I was about to argue with her, but something that she said felt so strange and familiar. Hmm, always been like that. So that's what my dad said about the carvings. And at this rate, I feel like they're either playing a really intricate and expensive prank on me, or I'm losing my mind. I remember that tree painting. My sister and I would always laugh at it and how ugly it looked. I decided to ask her myself. She said the exact same thing. It's always been like that. I decided to ignore it again, chalk it up to quarantine getting to me, getting on my nerves and being unhealthy for someone to be without social interaction and people not from your family, or whatever those researchers say. A few days ago, I would have been very curious about it, but I dismissed it. The start of the start of all the mistakes to come. A few days go by and I still stare at that painting. Sometimes I even forget about the dining set carvings just because of that painting. I start noticing other things change though. Like not even the biggest change. Just small details. This money plant we have, my mom and dad think it's lucky to keep it inside the house. So we keep it inside and it looks like, trees, dollars, it looks like that. Even though we use peso, but whatever. Who am I to argue with? Parental decorating. But yeah, going back, the money plant we have, it suddenly turns into a snake plant. You know that sharp, really tall leaf-like plant. That one, the snake plant. We have a sink in our living room. The sink knob is suddenly open in reverse. Instead, I remember I was twisting it clockwise, but now it goes counter. I noticed it because, of course, your muscle memory. You obviously go the direction you know you're going. But when I went there, it wouldn't budge. Not until I went the other way around. Oh, here, all the decorative marbles on our coffee table turned from blue to white. I remember those marbles. I used to play with them. I used to steal some for my toys, and then my mom would get angry and make me return it. Picture frames go from being hung on the wall to being placed on shelves. I remember that graduation picture. My sister's graduation was supposed to be just on the shelf, but now it's on the wall. And the welcome mat we had at our front door, it's gone. And just a blue mat now. That might be redecorating, but who knows. Our cuckoo clock had a different sound to it. At first, I decided maybe my parents were just decorating. They're using the quarantine to redecorate the house. What better time, right? Stuck inside a place, might as well redesign it. Who knows how long once this place has been changed. But every time I ask them about something new that has changed, they always say the same thing. It's always been like that. Maybe they just wanted to emphasize that it's gonna be like that from now on. I guess it was some weird old person trend going on. I think they're just realizing how to do the Marie Kondo thing with, I don't know. But things, but, but things weren't the only ones changing. Something, something felt different with my family. At first, I thought my mom had a sore throat because her voice got a bit more rough and deep. She always had this shrill voice that would be so annoying when she shouted at you, so high pitched. But now it sounds so deep, coarse. I asked her if she was okay. She said she was fine. The next day, I noticed she had a mole on her cheek. I never knew you could grow a mole. Pimples for sure you can, but moles? I guess so. My dad's hair started to get darker. Let me explain. All my life, I've known him to always complain about his graying hair. And now it's just suddenly completely black, like it's young again. The weirdest so far was my sister. While at the dinner table, I noticed her eyes were a bit different in color. She usually had brown eyes, but this time they were a bit blue. I asked if she bought new contacts because, she has this thing that she doesn't like wearing prescription glasses, so she'd rather wear contacts just to not look stupid. I asked her if she bought new contacts, and she said no. She's not wearing any. I know this sounds strange, but please, it's the truth. Everything around my house, my family included, is changing. I don't know what they're changing into. But that's not the weirdest part. I woke up, same as always, went downstairs, got a slice of bread, and was going back to my room when I caught a glimpse of my mom cooking. I almost ignored her. She never liked anyone messing around when she was in the kitchen. But something made me double check. I knew something was wrong. That didn't look like my mom. That wasn't my mom. I could just feel it. Something was different. Her hair looked the same, her eyes were brown, but now they're blue. She still has that mole on her face, but her voice, it was different. I know it was different. It's like hearing your favorite song on the radio, but realizing it was just another singer covering the song. It's like someone was wearing my mom, but not her voice, if you can understand that. I quickly ran back to my room and locked myself for a while. After a few hours, someone came knocking at my door. I couldn't recognize the voice, so I peeped through the crack of my door. It was my dad, but it wasn't his voice. It sounded different. Not him. I opened the door, and whatever was wearing my dad's skin gave me the biggest smile they could possibly give. He told me that lunch was ready and that I should head down soon. I'm writing to you now, as I don't know what will happen to me after. I wouldn't be surprised if my sister wasn't the same either. I just wanted to share this with you so that I have proof that I'm not going crazy. I can hear them. I hear them laughing. They're talking downstairs, watching the TV, eating, eating, eating something eating something that doesn't sound like the usual food. They're calling for me. They're shouting my name, asking me to come down and eat with them. Eat with the family, they say. I know that this is not the family I knew. It's not the family who raised me. Or are they? Have I just not been paying attention to the details? Whatever it is, whoever it is, they're calling for me. Not the family I know, but whatever family that's downstairs. End of statement. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. It might be just another, prank email. Those chain letters you have to send to everyone. Yeah, like if you don't send this, my family will turn into something weird. Hmm. Oh, it's weird. There's another email attached to it. It's a picture of my family. I mean, they're all eating together. They look all happy. You know that feeling when you look at someone smile and you know something doesn't add up and it looks not genuine? Well, they're all smiling at the picture, which I would assume, I mean, it's a picture, but something feels off about their smile. Anyways, this statement was sent to me via email, but it's an anonymous address. No name, no anything. Nah. I mean, geez, who uses Hotmail nowadays? That's weird. Anyways, I will continue to document this, and if there are other statements, I might as well record them. Keeps me sane, keeps me on my toes. Whatever's out there, I might as well. End of recording. Finished September 1, 2:57 a.m.